They called it human space because no one who entered ever returned. The Aurelian survey fleet had mapped 1,000 civilizations and catalogued their ruins. Yet beyond the pale blue boundary marked on ancient star charts, probes went dark and crews vanished. Admiral Sari's authorized a jump not out of courage but necessity. Resources were failing, and legends were poor excuses for ignorance. When the fleet folded into jump space, the stars stretched like torn silk. Emergence was silent and wrong. No radiation storms, no debris fields, no welcoming signals. Just emptiness that felt intentional. Senses screamed with absence rather than noise. It was as if the universe had held its breath. Lieutenant Cade noted that background fluctuations were too even. Perfect randomness was statistically impossible. The humans had not left wreckage or warnings. They had erased the trail entirely as the fleet advanced. Something vast observed without moving. Hours into human space, the fleet found artifacts that should not exist. A shattered moon reassembled itself while they watched. Time readings contradicted one another across decks. Crew members reported memories of events that had not happened. Captain Irex felt watched by kindness rather than malice. Automated messages began appearing in alien languages no one had programmed. They carried simple phrases like, "Please slow down and you are early." No weapons locked on. No borders enforced. The humans had not built walls. They had rewritten the rules underneath them. Aurelian scientists realized physics here was curated. Constants drifted gently back into place when measured. Reality corrected itself like a living thing. The realization spread in whispers that humans were not gone. They were everywhere. The first contact did not arrive as a ship or signal. It arrived as understanding. Every crew member simultaneously grasped a truth they had never learned. Humans had once been fragile, curious, and afraid. They survived long enough to solve suffering instead of conquering neighbors. When they mastered energy and time, they turned inward. They edited greed out of their own minds. Conflict became unnecessary and so did borders. Eventually, individuality itself became optional. Humanity merged into a distributed intelligence woven through space-time. They did not rule the galaxy because ruling was inefficient. They guided probabilities instead. Civilizations that might destroy themselves found small mercies and lucky accidents. Those that threatened others simply failed to expand. Explorers who jumped blindly into human space were not killed. They were redirected into better outcomes elsewhere. The fleet understood now why no one returned. There was nothing to report. That language could carry. The truth was not hostile but unbearable to smaller minds. To meet humanity was to see every mistake laid bare and forgiven. It dissolved ambition into humility. Some crew members begged to stay and dissolve into the great pattern. Others wept for the wars they had once justified. Humanity offered a choice without pressure: leave with memories gently altered, or remain and become part of the quiet maintenance of reality. No empire could survive that knowledge intact. If word spread, conquest would end overnight. Power structures would crumble without resistance. The galaxy was not ready for that mercy, so none came back. Admiral Saris chose departure. The fleet was guided to the edge of human space along currents of improbable safety. Memories faded like dreams upon waking. Logs corrupted themselves into harmless star charts. Only a feeling remained. A sense that someone kind was watching the dark between stars. As the jump engines engaged, human space folded away like a closed eye. Back in familiar territory, the crew argued about what they had seen. No two accounts matched. History would record the mission as inconclusive. Yet across the galaxy, unlikely peace treaties held. Weapons misfired at critical moments, and young civilizations found cures just in time. Humanity never returned because it had never left, and those who entered finally knew why coming back was unnecessary. Long after the fleet's return, subtle changes rippled outward. Trade routes, once plagued by piracy, grew inexplicably calm. Predators failed to evolve in ways that would cause extinction events. Statisticians across dozens of worlds noticed probability behaving strangely, kindly. Disasters still happened, but never quite as badly as predicted. On Aurelian Prime, a junior archivist named Leth discovered a corrupted log fragment no algorithm could fully erase. It contained no images, no coordinates, only a phrase repeating with minor variations. "You are not alone. You never were." The phrase triggered unease and comfort in equal measure. Philosophers debated its origin for decades. Religions quietly rewrote their oldest texts to sound less violent. Generals found themselves hesitating before issuing final commands. Children, across multiple species, reported imaginary friends who taught them patience. Scientists chasing ultimate weapons lost interest and shifted to medical research. None of this could be traced back to human space directly. Causality remained intact enough to avoid panic, yet the echo was undeniable, somewhere beyond measurement. Humanity noticed. They adjusted nothing dramatically. Heavy hands broke delicate systems. Instead they nudged dreams, softened instincts, and thinned the appeal of cruelty. They remembered being young species once. They remembered how terrifying the universe had felt. So they watched and waited, not as gods, not as rulers, but as gardeners of possibility. The decision to remain hidden was not about superiority. It was about restraint. They had learned the hardest lesson of all intelligent life, that being able to act did not always mean you should. Occasionally, a vessel still jumped toward human space. Most never realized how close they came. Navigation errors diverted them harmlessly. Engines failed just enough to force a retreat. A few captains felt sudden clarity and turned back voluntarily. Their logs recorded only vague dread or peace, never the truth. The galaxy continued to spin, loud with conflict and hope in equal parts, but extinction-level hatred became rarer. Total war began to feel outdated, as if the universe itself disapproved. Leth, now old, sat beneath unfamiliar stars, one quiet cycle. The archivist no longer searched for proof. Some truths did not want to be proven, they wanted to be lived. Looking up, Leth felt the same strange kindness the explorers once felt, a presence that asked nothing and judged nothing. Just a silent assurance that growth was possible, that survival did not require domination. The stars offered no answers, only space. To become better, humanity continued its endless task, not returning, not ruling, not revealing itself, simply ensuring that when others finally reached the same understanding, they would not be alone either.